where we take your stack of sources and really try to pull out the essential knowledge and insights. Today, we're plunging into some truly sensitive material. We're talking about allegations surrounding the handling of classified information right at the highest levels of government. Our mission here is to unpack the details, clarify these classifications, and really understand the implications of what's been reported.
That's right. And we've got a fascinating, pretty complex set of sources detailing a specific incident. It involves former Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, unclassified messaging apps, and, well, highly sensitive military intelligence.
Okay.
It's a really prime example, I think, of the challenges of information security in, the digital age. We'll explore not just what happened, but why it actually matters for national security and public trust.
Right. So let's unpack this. Our sources lay out allegations that former Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth shared intelligence from a secret no foreign classified email.
That specific classification, yeah.
And he shared it with an unclassified Signal group chats back in March. This was concerning a U.S. bombing campaign in Yemen. Now, the big headline here, and what makes this really critical for our deep dive, is that the Pentagon's independent inspector general has reportedly obtained evidence supporting this claim.
Evidence. That's key.
And it directly contradicts repeated denials from the Trump administration.
Right. The contradiction is central.
So here's where it gets really interesting. The core of this deep dive centers on intelligence concerning that U.S. bombing campaign in Yemen.
Yes.
Our sources state this information was initially sent via a classified email by General Michael Eric Kurilla. He's the top commander for U.S. military operations in the Middle East.
CNTCOM commander, yeah. Sent to more than a dozen defense officials through proper channels initially.
Okay, initially. So what's fascinating here is the classification itself. You mentioned Kurilla's email was marked secret no foreign.
Exactly. And secret isn't just, a rubber stamp. It means unauthorized disclosure could cause serious damage to national security.
Serious damage. That includes potential harm to defense capabilities, foreign relations, intelligence operations.
Precisely. It's a significant threshold.
And that no foreign designation, what exactly does that mean for you, the listener, and why is it such a critical layer of protection here?
Well, no foreign stands for not releasable to foreign nationals. It adds an extreme layer of restriction.
Extreme how?
It prohibits release to any foreign government, foreign national, or international organization without very explicit authorization.
So not just allies, but any non-U.S. entity.
Correct. And connecting this to the bigger picture, sharing no foreign info, even if it doesn't directly compromise an ongoing operation right then and there, it could seriously erode trust with allied intelligence agencies.
The trust factor.
Absolutely. It leads to questions about the U.S. commitment to information security. It might even expose sources and methods that rely on these strict agreements we have. You could see a kind of chilling effect on international intelligence cooperation. Allies might just become hesitant.
Makes sense. So the information was critical, highly restricted to only those with a clear need to know. But then it allegedly ended up somewhere it absolutely shouldn't have. Our sources do help clarify the classification levels. You've got confidential, that's damage to national security.
Right.
Then secret, which is serious damage, like this no foreign example.
Yep.
And then top secret, which means exceptionally grave damage. That often has extra caveats like SI for special intelligence or TK for talent keyhole.
Exactly. Very sensitive stuff at that level.
Okay, so let's get into the alleged breach itself. The classified intelligence was reportedly posted in at least 2 unclassified group chats on the Signal messaging app. That was March 15th.
2 chats, yeah.
Now, the choice of Signal, a commercially available unclassified platform, immediately raised, significant security concerns among experts and lawmakers. Why is Signal, even with its encryption, not suitable for this kind of information?
Yeah, this really gets to that tension, doesn't it? Convenience versus security. While Signal offers end-to-end encryption, which is good for personal privacy,
Sure.
our sources highlight that its unclassified nature means it just lacks the secure infrastructure. It doesn't have the robust access controls, the auditing capabilities, the stringent physical security measures that are required for handling classified material.
So it's not just about the encryption itself.
Not at all. It's the whole environment. It kind of suggests a broader trend, maybe, where officials used to instant communication might perhaps inadvertently bypass the secure, albeit sometimes clunkier, channels.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting and turned what might have been an internal lapse into a public scandal. A journalist from The Atlantic magazine, known for critical reporting on the Trump administration, was apparently inadvertently included in one of these group chats.
Wow. Okay. Inadvertently included. That phrasing itself is interesting.
It suggests an accidental oversight, right? But the fact that such a lapse could happen involving the Secretary of Defense, well, it points to maybe a deeper systemic issue, a kind of casual approach to communication security at very high levels.
It definitely raises that question. And what's also fascinating here is the alleged involvement of Marine Corps Colonel Ricky Burria, a military aide to Secretary Hegseth.
Ah, the aide.
Yeah. Officials familiar with the matter stated that Burria had access to Hegseth's personal phone. And according to individuals interviewed by the Inspector General, Burria informed colleagues that he was the one who typed the controversial Yemen texts into Hegseth's device.
So the aide physically typed it. Does that shift the responsibility?
Well, that's the crucial point. While the aide may have physically transmitted the information, the ultimate responsibility for the content and its dissemination, especially classified content, lies with the principal.
So Secretary Hegseth.
Exactly. It raises really important questions about delegation, oversight, and accountability for senior officials' communications, especially in the digital realm.
Okay. So following the initial reports, our sources detail a pretty consistent pattern of denials from numerous Trump administration officials.
Denials started coming quickly, yeah.
For example, Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard explicitly stated under oath during a March 25th Senate intelligence hearing, quote, "There was no classified material that was shared in that Signal chat."
Under oath, that's significant.
And Mike Waltz, who was National Security Advisor then, also insisted on July 15th that Hegseth did not share classified intelligence.
Another flat denial.
And even after the Pentagon watchdog's evidence emerged, Pentagon spokesman Sean Parnell reiterated, quote, "No classified information was shared via Signal." He added that nobody was texting war plans and even cited successful operations like Rough Rider, the Yemen bombing itself, and Midnight Hammer as proof of, quote, "top-notch operational security and discipline."
Right. That top-notch security claim becomes interesting later. But if we connect this to the bigger picture, this official stance, these strong denials, stand in direct contradiction to the evidence obtained by the Pentagon's independent watchdog.
The IG evidence.
Yes, which indicates the Signal messages originated from an email classified SIPRNet form. And it's not just the IG. Seasoned national security professionals have also weighed in.
Like who?
Well, retired Admiral William McRaven, highly respected, oversaw the bin Laden raid. He unequivocally stated that the information shared on Signal was, quote, clearly classified.
Clearly classified, okay.
And Senator Chris Coons, Democrat from Delaware, also expressed strong criticism, emphasizing that Signal is just not an appropriate and secure means of communicating highly sensitive information.
So you have this stark contradiction. Official denials, some under oath, versus internal findings from the IG and criticism from seasoned experts.
Exactly. It really suggests, or at least raises questions about, a potential politicization of intelligence and classification.
And our sources note the Trump administration has yet to claim that such a process declassification was carried out.
That's a really critical point,
Right.
the absence of that claim.
Which further strengthens the inference that it was indeed classified at the time it was shared on Signal.
Precisely. It raises that important question. When political expediency seems to outweigh established national security principles, what happens to the integrity of the classification system itself?
Yeah.
Our sources suggest this can set a really dangerous precedent. It erodes public trust. It undermines democratic oversight. And the timeline here really highlights the conflict from the March 15th Signal messages to those July 23rd bombshell reports revealing the IG evidence. It lays it all out.
So the Pentagon Inspector General's inquiry, how did that get started and what were the key findings according to our sources?
Well, the alleged disclosure prompted a formal inquiry by the Defense Department Inspector General's office. It was initiated back in April. And that followed bipartisan request from the Senate Armed Services Committee. So both sides wanted answers. The investigation specifically focused on those messages posted in the unclassified Signal group chats about the Yemen bombing campaign.
And what's fascinating here, as you mentioned, is the role and relative independence of the Inspector General system.
Absolutely. Despite political pressure or official denials, the IG's mandate allows for an internal check on executive power. It provides a mechanism for accountability.
And crucially,
the Pentagon's independent watchdog obtained evidence confirming that the messages shared on Signal derived directly from an email classified as SiPRNet form.
Directly from that classified email.
Yes. That evidence is really the cornerstone of these allegations. It provides a direct factual counterpoint to the administration's denials.
So what does this all mean for any potential defense the administration might have had? You touched on the declassification issue.
Right. Our sources highlight this critical aspect. The absence of any assertion from the Trump administration that the classified information was declassified or even downgraded before it was sent via Signal.
And the defense secretary can declassify Pentagon info.
And yes, the authority exists, but those familiar with the IG's review indicate there's simply no evidence that such a process happened here. No paper trail, no formal declaration, nothing.
So that omission, that lack of a declassification claim, it really undermines any potential defense, doesn't it?
Significantly. Their failure to claim declassification strongly implies the information was still classified when shared. It suggests, well, either an acknowledgement of culpability or at least a recognition that no legitimate declassification pathway was followed. It highlights a direct breach of established protocols.
Got it. And it's important our sources distinguish this specific IG inquiry from another separate criminal investigation involving Secretary Hegseth, right?
That's correct. There was another investigation regarding a different leak, a classified Defense Intelligence Agency report about Iranian nuclear facilities. This Signal incident is distinct from that.
Okay. So pulling back, what are the broader implications of this alleged sharing of secret no foreign intelligence on an unclassified platform?
Well, our sources emphasize this constitutes a significant potential security breach, a serious one.
How so? What are the risks?
The risks are severe. You're talking about the potential compromise of ongoing or future military operations, endangering U.S. forces or assets, and potentially exposing sensitive intelligence sources and methods, the very people and techniques we rely on to gather critical information.
That really brings home why these rules exist.
Exactly. It raises that important question. Why are established government regulations so strict? They mandate using highly secure, accredited communication systems for transmitting classified info, especially at the secret level and above.
Systems designed specifically for this.
Precisely. They have stringent encryption, access controls, auditing capabilities, all designed to prevent unauthorized disclosure. Using a commercial app like Signal is a fundamental deviation from those critical security standards.
So beyond the individual accountability for whoever shared it, incidents like this, they erode public trust, don't they?
Absolutely. Public trust, international intelligence sharing relationships are damaged, the credibility of governmental institutions gets undermined.
And we saw public outcry, right? Calls for Secretary Hegseth's firing.
Yes, and Michael Waltz, the apparent creator of the main Signal group, he was ousted less than 2 months after this episode came to light. It underscores the gravity of the perceived breach.
Which brings us back to that Pentagon spokesman's comment.
Right, the claims about top-notch operational security and discipline and successful operations. It creates a kind of paradox when you juxtapose it with this Signal incident.
A disconnect.
A definite disconnect, it seems, between broad institutional claims of security and the actual practices of senior officials in their daily digital interactions.
So what's the lesson there?
It suggests that true national security in this digital age requires more than just robust technical defenses. It demands a pervasive culture of security awareness and discipline among all personnel, especially at the highest levels. This incident is a stark reminder of that challenge balancing rapid communication with really stringent security needs.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you, the listener, navigating this complex world of information?
Well, the evidence presented by the Pentagon's independent inspector general strongly indicates that secret no foreign classified information was shared in unclassified Signal chats by an account affiliated with then Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth.
And that finding directly contradicts those repeated denials from various Trump administration officials, some of which were made under oath.
Exactly. This incident highlights a significant security lapse. It raises profound questions about how sensitive national security intelligence is handled and whether established communication protocols are being followed at the very highest levels of government.
And the lack of any claim about declassification before the sharing?
That further underscores the seriousness of the alleged breach. It really points to the core issues of protocol and trust.
So for us, this deep dive really emphasizes that inherent tension, doesn't it, between the demand for fast, maybe informal communication in our digital age?
And the absolutely stringent, sometimes slower security requirements needed to protect classified national security information. They often seem at odds.
Yeah.
So given everything we've discussed today about the critical need for secure communication, especially at the top, Here's something to think about.
Okay.
How might that seemingly small act, choosing convenience over protocol in digital communication, maybe sending a quick text instead of using the secure system, how might that ripple outwards? How could it impact global trust and national security in ways that we don't immediately see?